You know what's sad is he's probably like just as good as the Claws did in X-Men Origins. Alright, so Logan is a new X-Men spin-off movie. This one is once again featuring the character of Wolverine. The last one he did, The Wolverine, is a movie that I really liked, except for the ending. It's a little weird, but it's a really cool movie. And then the first Wolverine movie, that movie, it's just the worst. And supposedly, I like how everybody that's like talking about this movie says supposedly, this movie is also going to mark Hugh Jackman's last portrayal as the character of Wolverine. This movie takes place in the not too distant future. Logan's really beat down, he's worn, he's weathered, he's caring after a really sick Charles Xavier. And then this little girl comes along, this little girl's a new mutant, and it's basically an escort mission. They gotta get this little girl from point A to point B while avoiding Draco Malfoy with a robotic arm. First thing I'm gonna say about this movie, this is the best Wolverine standalone movie that we've had. And this is coming from someone that really likes the Wolverine. I think this is the best Hugh Jackman has ever been as Wolverine. This might be the best performance I've ever seen in a superhero movie by an actor. I think, Heath Ledger was really good. And then you have some people that completely meld into the role, like Robert Downey Jr. or Ron Perlman as Hellboy. But Hugh Jackman is just so melded into this character. We see him in heights he's never been in the X-Men series before. This Wolverine is vulnerable. He's not the mutant or the human or the beast that he used to be. He's not any of those things anymore. Him and Charles, they're wanderers. They don't really have a place on this earth anymore. And this movie really communicates that in a very somber and touching way, because this is a very bleak movie. Not in the sense that all the colors are really drab, because there's definitely color in this movie, but it goes back to those performances. This is also a much more violent Wolverine than we've seen before. Really cool to see, because when the action in this movie is going down, it's going down. Wolverine's all just like slicing off limbs, chopping heads off, slicing faces, all in awesome rated R glory. And the rated R rating for this movie, it really did fit for the tone of the movie. It felt very organic. I really like what Patrick Stewart was able to do in this movie. I know some people were concerned in the trailer, he was like dropping an F-bomb and stuff. They're like, Patrick Stewart would never do that as Charles Xavier. When it happened though, and when you see, and in this movie you see a very vulnerable Charles Xavier. This is the most vulnerable that Patrick Stewart has ever been as Charles Xavier. It harkened back a little bit to James McAvoy in Days of Futures Past. This Patrick Stewart Charles Xavier was a great melding of Patrick Stewart and James McAvoy. I felt in this movie, similar to Days of Futures Past, that these two are really one character. The guy was stopping the Cuban Missile Crisis in the 60s, and now he's here. Really, everyone in this movie does a good job. I really like the villain of this movie. He had a lot of charisma behind him. Usually in comic book movies, especially in Marvel movies, they have a difficult time conveying their villains. I thought this guy was really cool. He kind of reminded me of the villain from The Crow. He's very smooth talking and pretty articulate, but he was also a menacing presence. Even more so of a menacing presence than the guy in The Crow, because that guy didn't really do that much. Then again, I've only seen The Crow once, so I don't know. What do I know? And the girl in this movie I thought was really cool too. I don't know her name, but the name's right there. She's someone to watch out for. And when she and Wolverine are out there just kicking everyone's butts, it's so good. This movie's not a perfect movie. I had some issues with it. I feel like a lot of these issues you could pass off as details, but here they are anyways. The movie is admittedly kind of predictable. If you saw some things in the trailers and you're like, oh, that's probably this happening and this is probably this happening, it plays out exactly like you thought it was going to happen. When new characters are introduced in this movie, you know right when they're introduced, like, they're dead, they might live, they're dead. And there's something that happens in this movie, something that's really heartbreaking, and it's really a big impact on the movie. It was a little over the halfway point, maybe like near the end of the second act. I thought it was a really cool scene. But then right after that scene, I noticed the movie meandered a lot for the next half hour. I started getting a little bored until the finale of the movie, so there's that little pocket of time there. Other than that though, I mean, this movie is, what, 2 hours and 10 minutes or something like that? Pretty long movie, especially for a Wolverine movie, and I thought that the runtime, it really felt natural, save for that little bit of time near the end of the movie. So in the end, I found Logan to be a really cool, emotional, action-packed send-off to Hugh Jackman. This is the best that Hugh Jackman has ever been as Wolverine. Also probably the best that Patrick Stewart has ever been as Charles Xavier. I thought the new characters were really cool, the action was great, the tone of the movie was great. Logan really did hit everything I wanted to hit. It meandered a bit here and there. It's a pretty predictable movie, but it's a very refreshing take on the character of Logan and a very great send-off to a character that we've loved for almost 2 decades now. So let me know what you guys thought of Logan down in the comments if you've seen it, and thank you so much for watching this video. If you guys liked it, you can click subscribe and check out some of my other videos, and I'll catch you guys next time.